Saffron Energy, which was established back in November last year to acquire North Sun Italia, is a producer and explorer of natural gas based in northern Italy. Today it's achieved its goal of listing here in London on the alternative investment market. Michael Masterman is Chief Executive. He joins us now. Michael, welcome.
Great.
Congratulations, because today is the day you've been working towards and you've listed on the London market. What did you raise?
We raised £2.5 million, which is a great outcome. We were heavily oversubscribed when we did the book build, but it's great to see us listed on AIM.
Yeah, I said you got interest in northern Italy. Explain a bit more about the portfolio, because it's a bit wider than just a simple one asset company.
Well, I think the thing that distinguishes us from a lot of oil and gas companies is we've actually got production. So we've got production from our Solaro field, which is up and running. Very quickly after this IPO, literally within a month, we're going to bring on our second field, Bezzecca, which will start up in the back end of March. And then we've got a third field, Sant'Alberto, which will start up in the back end of 2017. We've got hard assets, so we've got a 7.5 kilometre pipeline which we've just built. We've got 4 completed production wells with all the downhole equipment ready to produce, and we've got 2 gas plants which are connected into the Italian national grid.
Oh, so that's where the gas is going. It's going straight into the Italian grid using the source.
Literally straight into the Italian grid. I mean, and there could not be a closer connection, if you think. The gas comes up 2.5 kilometres through the well, and 300 metres away there is a grid connection into the national grid. Italy's got some of the best prices in Europe, nearly the highest price in Europe, and we sell directly into the grid to Shell PLC, where we have a great offtake contract with them. So the fact that we can sell at wholesale prices literally at the wellhead gives us very high operating margins.
So as you said, you're producing. What sort of production are you achieving at the moment, and where do you hope to be in a year or 2 years' time?
So we're currently producing at 1.5 million cubic feet a day in terms of the current operations plus Bezzecca. That's going to increase over 3 years to 4 million cubic feet a day, which is a very healthy production rate.
And this money you're bringing on to the balance sheet now, what's that going to do? How much of that is going to be used for your existing wells? You're going to be looking elsewhere to invest, or what's the money earmarked for?
So there's 2 primary uses of funds, and it's very much focused on gas production and cash flow. The first is to complete the Bezzecca project. So we've just built a 7.5 kilometre pipeline. We're doing the tie-ins of that well into the production grid. So some of the money is used to do that, and do that very quickly. And the second part of the funds will be used to bring the Sant'Alberto project on stream in the back end of this year.
What else are you aiming to do in northern Italy? We've already seen from other companies that northern Italy is actually quite a good place to be at the moment. What were you hoping to do? Are you going to just keep on with the assets you've got, or are you looking to expand by either acquisition or some other form?
Well, look, from a shareholder's point of view, if all we did was executed against the development plan that underpins the IPO, then shareholders would be very happy. They'd basically get fairly rapid increases in gas production, rapid increases in cash flow and earnings, and that would provide a very strong base. But we do have an exceptional management team, which has been very, very good at bringing in other assets and building the portfolio. And I think with that team, once we kick our first couple of goals in 2017, we're going to be able to add further production and cash flow to the business. We're going to be very disciplined about that. What we're focused on is gas production, cash flow, and getting that cash flow back to shareholders. We're not going to go and blow the money on some exploration well or something like that. We're going to make sure we deliver cash flow to shareholders.
Of the current 10 million market cap, I think this is really what you're trading at a couple of hours into the session on this first trading day for Saffron. You've got about, I think 35% of the business is out in the market. I think 65% is owned by an Australian listed company. Explain a bit more about the relationship there and what investors should know about that.
So Po Valley Energy is listed on the ASX, and it was the original funder and developer of these gas fields. It became very clear to Po Valley that London was just a much more natural market to hold these assets. There was much more natural appetite and much more natural understanding of the the importance of natural gas in Europe and the margins that can be earned there. So we're moving the production assets to the right market, and I think we're seeing that in the reaction of the shareholders and investors today in the market. They realise these assets on London will get much better valuations and much more support.
And that 65% that Po Valley owns in Saffron Energy, is that likely to be sold down? I mean, where's that going to go? What's the long-term plan? So
the AIM rules require that 65% to be locked in for a full 12 months. So that under AIM has to sit there. Our longer-term plan is to distribute the Saffron Energy shares to the Po Valley shareholders, and then you'll have a much more fully listed company, fully participating in the market. That'll probably happen in 2018. I think that'll be very good for the stock when that happens. But in the meantime, if you like, the core shareholder is there, sitting there, and incredibly supportive with what the rest of the company needs to do.
As Chief Executive, how did you participate in this IPO?
As Chief Executive and a Director, the AIM rules restricted my direct participation. I would have actually loved to have put some capital into Saffron Energy. I am a very large shareholder of Po Valley Energy, and so my interests are directly aligned with the success of Saffron.
What about news flow this year? What are you expecting? What should investors be watching out for?
Well, one of the things that's going to underpin the stock is very strong news flow. So we've got Solaro producing. In the first month out from the IPO, we're going to bring Berezka on stream, so there'll be a lot of news flow associated with that. We've got new gas contracts coming up, which should underpin stronger pricing, and then we've got all the things that will take the third gas field, Sant Alberto, into production in the back end of the year.
So, in sum, what's the company going to look like in 12 months' time? You've already spoken about the AIM rules and 12 months, the significance of that, but in terms of production, in terms of what you're hoping to achieve, 12 months, 24 months' time, what's that?
Look, in 12 months, we're going to have 3 gas fields producing strongly. There's initiatives we can take to further increase that production, and I think shareholders are going to have a vibrant company, lots of growth, lots of increases in cash flow. We're going to start in 18 and 19 to look at how we can get that cash flow directly back to shareholders.
Good. Well, we look forward to keeping track on how this share's going. And thanks indeed for joining us. Michael Masterman is Chief Executive of newly listed Saffron Energy with interest in Northern Italy.